Hey, how's it going, everyone? I'm not sure if anyone is live with me right now or if I'm even live. So just give me a few seconds. I do see a pop up here. How's it going, everyone? I'm just gonna give it a few more seconds, or maybe 30, 40 seconds or so for everyone to start tuning in. But good morning, everyone. Hope everyone's doing great. Thanks so much for tuning in. For those of you on LinkedIn, and I'm also streaming on Facebook right now as well. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Time right now is 11:01 a.m. Eastern Time over here in Toronto, and I hope everyone's having a fantastic week. And for those of you joining in the recorded version, thanks so much for tuning in. Already see some comments here. Hey, Ahilan, how's it going? I'm doing great, thanks. Hope you're doing great, Ahilan, and hope everyone else is doing great, folks. I'm just gonna give it like I don't know, maybe another 20, 30 seconds or so, just so people are able to log in. So hope everyone's doing great. Put in the comments, how's everyone doing? How's things at your end? And how's your job search going if you're actively on the market? What I wanted to discuss on today's live stream is the importance of speed. This is something I really felt that needed to be addressed. And I wanted to speak about some of the changes in the job search market right now as well. And before I begin, I do have a few announcements I wanted to make as well. Hey, Paul Winder, thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks for your comment. Saloni, how's it going? Thanks so much for your comment. Manisha, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. And look, I hope everyone's doing great. And let me just quickly check if I have any comments here on Facebook. No, I'm still building up my Facebook following. Not having much success over there. So if any of you want to follow my Facebook page, please do so. Trying to gather a following over there and see if I can help more people out there. Geeta says, hey Dean, how's it going, Geeta? Thanks so much for tuning in. And all right, folks. So I'm just gonna go ahead and get this started. And I'm sure as more people tune in, they'll be able to put in their comments as well. Hey Marina, how's it going? Thanks so much for watching and tuning in. I hope everything's great with you, Marina. And okay, folks. Now, before I get started, two quick announcements. Well, actually, I wrote down three announcements I wanted to make. First announcement: if you've been following my new video series, I'm doing a new series. It's called Tech Talks, and basically, what I do is I interview experts in the IT space, in the technology space, and we just talk about IT stuff. IT technology trends, evolution of whatever technology or their field of expertise, future trends, risks, impacts, all that exciting stuff. And so I released a new episode yesterday, and it was with my guest was Hari, JavaScript expert, very passionate guy about what he does. And we spoke about JavaScript, and I posted the episode yesterday. If you haven't checked it out, if you just go to my profile, if you go to the section that says featured posts or whatever it's called, there should be a link to the full discussion. And fantastic episode, actually. We spoke about JavaScript, the evolution of JavaScript, the uniqueness of JavaScript, the frameworks, the upcoming trends. And Hari gave some great advice for not just entry level and junior developers, but just anyone looking to get into the field of JavaScript development. Some tips and advice from a career standpoint as well. I see more people tuning in. Hey, Dina, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Hope everything's well for you out there in Montreal. So check out that episode, folks. A new episode of Tech Talks. Again, this week's expert was a JavaScript development expert. So next, and also over the next coming weeks, I do have some other exciting guests. Next week, I'll have a DevOps expert coming in to share a lot of information with you folks. The week after that, I have an ERP expert from the ERP space going to be talking about ERP, enterprise resource planning systems. And then after that, we're going to have another cybersecurity expert, and this time with more practical tips for the everyday, normal, non-cybersecurity person, and even the non-technical IT person such as myself. And so it's going to be some great episodes coming up. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel as well to keep in touch with that, or just keep following me here on LinkedIn for those updates. And hey Vivek, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Okay, so announcement number 2. I did post it a few weeks back that I'm working on an ebook, and it's called 4 Mindset Shifts for a Hostile Job Market. I am pretty much wrapped up the book. I finished writing it. I'm just kind of doing the aesthetics and the design and making it look nice and pretty, stuff like that at this point. So I'm aiming to put it out I can probably put it out by tomorrow, but I think I'm gonna put it out on Friday because Friday is my birthday. So I think it's like a great thing for me to be able to release that on my birthday and make it available for everyone out there. Of course, it's free. It's completely free for everyone, and I felt like Friday would be a good day for me to put it out and just help everyone out there. And I hope all of you benefit from the information I share in that ebook and help you navigate not just the current conditions we're in, but even for the future. And it's something that you're most welcome to pass on to your friends, your colleagues, your network, your family, your uncles, your aunts, your grandma, your grandpa. I don't care who it is, and I'm pretty sure the information will help everyone. So hope everybody is able to grab a hold of that. I will be releasing it probably on Friday, early morning Friday. So make sure you follow me. Hey, Poria, thanks so much for following me, folks. Poria is another great person to follow on social media, especially on Instagram. So Poya, feel free to share your Instagram links. He takes beautiful pictures, folks, of Toronto, and I just like watching the pictures because it's something nice to look at, something positive to look at, and he puts out great social media content. So Poya, feel free to share your Instagram link as well as your LinkedIn link. He has some great posts, folks. Make sure you follow him. Robert, how's it going? Thanks so much for tuning in. Vivek, thanks so much. I appreciate that. Ahilan, thanks so much as well for the advanced birthday wishes. Now, third announcement, folks, and this is probably the most important one. Folks, beware of scams. Okay, there are scams going on out there, and I wanted to bring that to everyone's attention. During any crisis or pandemic situation or any kind of similar situations, the vultures and the criminals start coming out, right? And I'm not trying to spread paranoia here, but all I'm saying is, folks, given that a lot of people are in a desperate situation right now, this can make you easy prey to scams and all sorts of things. Now, quick example, like I had a friend reach out to me yesterday, like someone in my network, and they had another friend who received who's overseas, by the way, right, in another country, who received a job offer from a supposed company over here offering employment, and it was a very attractive salary. I think it was like 160K plus or something like that. But this organization over here, this staffing agency, was asking for the candidate to put up their first month's salary as commission to the agency. So it's really good that my friend reached out to me, because I was like, look, right away, most agencies here will not ask any money directly from candidates. And the second red flag, and another red flag I saw, was on this agency's website, this so-called agency's website. I saw a lot of red flags myself, folks. So look, if you have something on the table and you suspect it's a spam or something, reach out to your network. Always get a second opinion. Feel free to reach out to me, folks. Again, especially if you're in a desperate situation, you're thinking emotionally, right? You're thinking about getting your situation solved, and you can fall prey to scams. Not all scams are cybersecurity or cyber related. And it's very easy for you to just be taken advantage of because of your situation. So be very suspicious, folks. If something seems too good to be true, keep in mind, and we've heard this before, it could very well be too good to be true. So reach out to your network. Feel free to reach out to me if you have a job offer and you feel like it might be a scam or they're asking you for money and this and that. Folks, most staffing agencies over here, as far as I know, do not ever ask money from candidates. So keep this in mind. For those of you tuning in from overseas, very easy. That's a very easy group for people to take advantage of, because people overseas are looking to make a move over here. So folks, practice good judgment here. Be wary, be aware that now is a hotbed, like a hot period for scams and scam artists. So be careful, everyone. Just wanted to give everyone a heads up on that. So without further ado, folks, I wanted to discuss today's topic, and what I want to speak about is the importance of speed. Now, why is speed important right now? So, and just to give you a very general breakdown of the conditions of the job market right now, what we have, folks, and there is exception, okay, caveat, corollary, or whatever you want to call it, there is an exception to this. There are certain parts of the market where things are really good and going great, but for the most part, for most of us, folks, what we're experiencing right now is an increased level of available talent on the market, and a reduced amount of available opportunities, right? So you have more talent available on the market, you have less available opportunities, right? So what this means is more competition for each of the roles that you're applying for, or that you're pursuing, or that you have an interest in, assuming these are real active, real opportunities that you're applying for. Now, this more competition means, folks, you can't spend too much time dillying and daddling and trying to prepare things and prepare your resume and all this other kind of stuff. just so that you can, be just so that, that everything's perfect, so you can present yourself for the role. Do not make the mistake, folks, of thinking that you can take a few days or a few weeks to fix your resume before presenting them to the recruiter or the hiring manager or whoever it is you're reaching out to. Like I said, folks, fewer opportunities, higher amount of available talent on the market. Okay. So this means for the positions you're applying for, and I'm not trying to scare you guys. I'm not trying to, freak you out. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm just giving you a realistic outlook of what the job market looks like right now. So understand, if you're applying for a role, if you're pursuing an opportunity, with exception to those parts of the market where there's an abundance of opportunities, and even those parts, folks, if you think about it, I mean, there's more available talent on the market. So chances are you might be competing with more people for the same positions, and there's more available talent out there. There's a lot of people looking to get back to work. So keeping this in mind, you have to use speed to your advantage. So look, 4 tips in relation to helping you be able to move fast and with a sense of urgency on the positions that interest you, that you're involved in. Tip number 1: have your resume ready, folks. Like, I shouldn't even be having to tell you this, but your resume should be locked, loaded, and like ready to fire off, right? And with the exception of any minor adjustments you had to make. And look, if your resume for the most part is well and done, and it has everything you need, it's well structured, you've done the spelling check, the grammar check. By the way, side note, a lot of you are not even running the spell check or grammar check. Make sure you do that. Very simple, only takes a few minutes, folks. Make sure you have that ready. Make sure your resume is locked and loaded and ready to go. So that, and which brings me to point number 2. Well, actually, not to point number 2, but make sure it's all set and ready, so that even if the recruiter or whoever it is, let's say you're being represented by a staffing agency, they say, okay, you need to make XYZ changes to your resume so it's more appealing to the hiring manager. It's not going to take much effort to make those changes and get yourself moving ahead in the process. So the bulk of your resume should be ready, but at the same time, you should be able to make those changes and adjustments if necessary on your resume. Point number 2, which brings me to point number 2. If you need to do any changes, adjustments, additions to your resume, folks, do it ASAP. ASAP, for those of you who don't know, means as soon as possible. Do not procrastinate, folks. You need to move fast here. I want you to get yourself in front of the right people, in front of the decision maker, the recruiter, the hiring manager, the stakeholders, the influencers, whoever it is, as soon as possible. I don't want you taking a few days like it's, some of you are strolling around like it's summertime in the park. Now's not the time for taking things easy, folks. I want you to move fast. I need you to move with speed. So if a recruiter says, hey, I need you to make such and such adjustments on your resume, you say, great, no problem. I'll get those changes out to you within the hour or within the half an hour. I need you to get off the phone, go right to your desk, your computer, make those changes ASAP. Do not leave it for later on. Do not leave it for later, because you know what? And I'm speaking as a recruiter, folks. Okay, as a recruiter, as soon as I'm done speaking to one candidate and they haven't provided me the resume and I haven't officially presented them, I'm going to keep looking for others. Why? Because I know most people are going to procrastinate. Most people are not going to get back to me like they said they would in some cases. And I'm not saying this is not the case in most cases, but as a recruiter, I'm always looking to connect with more candidates, because you never know, because I'm dealing with human beings, right? And when you're dealing with human beings, people change their minds. They don't get back when they say they do. They might change. They might feel like, okay, maybe this is not the right opportunity. So what do I do as a recruiter? I'm constantly looking for other great candidates to present until I reach that limit of how many candidates I can present. So what you want to do is you want to make sure you get that document, that resume with the adjustments, the changes, and all that stuff that's needed as soon as possible, so the recruiter knows, okay, this person means business. They really do want to get themselves presented for the position. So that's why the bulk of your resume, if it's all done and completed, you don't need to worry about that. All you need to worry about is making those minor adjustments that might be required for your resume. And again, folks, get it done as soon as possible, right after you get off the phone with the recruiter. Of course, unless there's some kind of an emergency at your end, obviously, I'm not going to cover each of these scenarios, folks. The point here is make those changes as soon as possible, preferably right after you get off the phone with the recruiter. Make those changes, do the spell check, grammar check again, make sure everything's good. Fire it back off to the recruiter. Even call the recruiter and say, hey, Dean, I sent you the resume right now. Can you check your email right now while I have you on the phone? I'll hold. Then have me check my email. I'll look over the email, and you say, great. And which brings me to point number 3, folks. Point number 3, always reiterate interest in the position and clarify timelines for submission for the role. So you give me a call back. You let me know, hey, Dean, I made the adjustments on your resume. I want to make sure I made the right adjustments. Can you check your email right now? Yeah, sure, no problem. Let me open up my email, blah, blah, blah. I go through, I open up my email, I open up your resume. I say, okay, great. Looks like you made the right changes. Then you say, okay, great, Dean, excellent. I just want to let you know this position really interests me and really excites me. When will you be presenting my profile for the position? Ask this question, folks. You want to get a commitment from the recruiter that they'll be presenting your resume. Do not make assumptions here. You got to get a commitment from the recruiter. Now, obviously, there are some recruiters out there who are not going to be upfront with you. There, unfortunately, there are unethical people out there who will tell you, yeah, I'm going to present your resume, and they're not going to present your resume. Now, unfortunately, I can't tell you what you can do to know whether they have presented your resume or not. But what I'm saying here is, asking this question and getting that commitment as to whether they'll be presenting your resume or not. At least the ethical, good recruiters, they will have a confirmation on your end with your interest, your level of interest, and they'll be like, okay, you know what? This person is definitely interested. I'm going to go ahead and present them right now. So again, those unethical recruiters who say they're going to do something and don't, unfortunately, folks, I can't really do much about that. But my point here is, you want to ask this question. The good recruiters, the ethical ones, the ones who are going to do what they say and say what they do, they're going to present their resume. But very important question to ask. Great, Dean. I'm glad that you the resume is all good and fine. When will you be presenting my profile to the client? So I'm going to present your profile actually right after we get off the phone right now. Okay, excellent, Dean. Dean, what is the timeline in terms of feedback? When do you expect to hear back from the client? Well, it might take a day or two. Generally, like we worked with this client in the past. Usually, they usually get back within a few hours, maybe a day or two. I should have some feedback for you soon. Okay, great, Dean. Excellent. Do you mind if I follow up with you tomorrow at latest, if just to get your feedback and find out where I'm at, or if they've even taken a look at my resume? No, I might say, yeah, sure, feel free to do so. Or I might say, no, you know what? You're most welcome to give me a call back, but this client generally does take a few days. So I would suggest connecting with me maybe in 3 to 4 days, and we can reconnect on this. So so folks, what are you doing? You're being proactive. You're taking control over the call as a candidate. You're showing interest. You're showing enthusiasm. And you're just showing yourself as a professional, highly professional person who means business and knows what they're doing. So make sure you do this third step as well, folks. Tip number 4, in regards to why you need to act with speed and a sense of urgency. And by the way, that previous script I shared with you, it shows a sense of urgency, right? You're really enthusiastic and interested in getting in front of the decision maker. Tip number 4, the ultimate goal, folks, is to get in front of the decision maker as soon as possible. And that's the whole purpose and the whole reason for moving with speed and a sense of urgency, folks. This is why it's extremely important. So what you want to do is, and this is why you want to act and move with speed and a sense of urgency. Because look, it's one thing. Now, if you're being represented by a staffing agency, you want to get in front of me as soon as possible. That's the first step, right? You want to get in front of Dean as soon as possible. You want to make sure it's the right role, the right fit. You qualify the opportunity. By the way, I'm assuming, folks, at this point, you have qualified the opportunity, meaning you have asked the right questions and you have an understanding of the role, and you feel like, okay, yeah, this is definitely a great role for me. So I'm assuming this is all done. So this is beyond that point is when you got to move with that speed and urgency, right? So you want to get yourself in front of the recruiter as soon as possible, because the recruiter is your gateway to the decision maker, right? This is the path you got to take. Sometimes you got the direct path. You got that direct line of contact with the decision maker. Other times you got to go through someone else, like a third party, such as a recruiter. And it could be a staffing agency recruiter, could be a corporate recruiter. So first thing is you want to get yourself in front of the staffing. Let's say you're being represented by an agency, right? You want to get yourself in front of the staffing agency recruiter as soon as possible. You want to then make sure they have all the information they need, so they, on your behalf, can get you in front of the actual decision maker, the influencer, or the stakeholders involved in the hiring process at their clients. So, and that happens, folks. You got to move fast. You got to move with speed. You got to move with urgency. Everything needs to be ready. Your resume, again, like I said before, locked and loaded, ready to go. Any adjustments you want to make, you need to make them as soon as possible. And again, always reiterate that sense of urgency, that interest, that enthusiasm. Get a commitment on next steps and whether they're presenting your profile, and move yourself forward, folks. So look, I hope that information was helpful. I'm gonna go over those 4 steps again, just for those of you taking notes. Step number 1: have your resume ready, prepared, locked and loaded, ready to go. If any adjustments need to be made, it's only going to be like a minor thing. Like maybe they want you to add like a project or emphasize certain aspects of your background and this and that and all of that. that's pretty much all that needs to be done, right? In terms of the level of preparedness of your resume. Tip number 2: if you need to make any changes to your resume, get on those changes, folks, as soon as possible. Now's not the time for saying, hey, you know what, I'll get around to it this afternoon, or I'm gonna do it in a few days. Or my favorite show's on Netflix right now, I'm gonna watch that first and then I'm gonna do it. No, folks. The job search right now, folks, serious business. Again, like I said, more competition right now because there are less available opportunities than there is talent. Okay, so you got to move fast, you got to move with speed, you got to move with urgency. So tip number 3: again, reiterate your interest, all right, and clarify the timeline with the recruiter, and make sure they received your resume, make sure they're presenting your resume, and make sure you have a timeline for when to follow up with your recruiter or your point of contact, whoever that is. And tip number 4, which actually should have been tip number 1, actually, the ultimate goal here, folks, is to get yourself in front of the right people, in front of the decision maker, or in front of people who can get you in front of the decision maker as soon as possible. So I hope that information helped you, folks. And I'm gonna get it right into the questions, actually. Let's see here. So I have some more comments. Let's see here. So Manisha says, wow, that's great. We'll eagerly be waiting for the book. Yeah, thanks so much for your comment, Manisha. I'm looking excited, feeling excited to release the ebook, folks. Again, it's free for everyone. I'm going to be releasing it on this Friday, and guarantee that all of you will get a lot of information and detail about it. I'm kind of a week behind, so my apologies for that. It's just that, folks, when I started writing this book, there's just so many aspects that I wanted to share with all of you that, like, I was like, okay, I can either, put it out right now, or I can put in the effort and the work and do a good job on what I wanted to share with you in terms of navigating this kind of a climate, right? So thanks, Manisha. I appreciate that, Manisha. Oh, there's 2 Manishas. All right, so that's great. So different spellings, but Manisha, the other Manisha Patel says, looking forward to the ebook. Great, sounds good, Manisha. I appreciate that. Hey, Haki, how's it going? Hey, Haki's my stepbrother. Everyone say hi to Haki. And I hope you're doing great, Haki, and you're well and safe. Sundas, how's it going? Sundas? Thanks so much for tuning in. Don says, right on, Dean. Thanks so much, Don. Appreciate your comment. Folks, anyone else have any questions? I don't see any questions here. I know sometimes the comments are not accurately updated on here. So let me just quickly check through my mobile phone if all of you have any questions here. Hey, Sweta, yeah, you missed the party. Yeah, thanks so much. So Sweta says, hey, just joining the party. What did I miss? Looking forward to the ebook. I will share within Teach and Do. Thanks so much, Sweta. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate it. Again, folks, Sweta is another great person you need to follow. She provides career coaching and speaks about provides a lot of great resources for job seekers. So make sure you follow Sweta. And a really great person to follow. So make sure you connect with her. And so Sweta, what I was speaking about is the importance of moving with speed and a sense of urgency, especially right now in the current market. I'm sure you agree, Sweta, there's a lot more available talent than there are available opportunities, right? With maybe some exceptions out there. But because of this, a lot more competition for each of the roles out there. So what I was speaking about is the importance of moving with speed and a sense of urgency. So let's see here. So I have some questions coming in. So thanks so much for everyone who's putting in their questions. So let me see here. So Neha Pancho says, how to fit in big job description in your 1-page resume. So Neha, I actually spoke about this last week. Look, don't stress so much about this 1-page thing. Like, there's this advice going around out there about how everyone needs to keep a 1-page resume. Folks, no one will ever reject you because your resume went over 1 page. Let's say your resume is 3-4 pages, and let's assume the person reading it only looks at your first page. If the first page captures their attention, they'd be pretty weird or crazy for them to say, you know what, this is a great profile. They have a great first page resume, but you know what, because they have 3 to 4 pages, I'm just gonna pass on this candidate and not consider them for the role. Like, it's just crazy. It's just ridiculous, folks. So Neha, don't worry too much about this 1-page resume thing. If you're at a senior level, I'm not sure what your level of experience is, but if you're at a senior level, like, it's ridiculous to expect someone, especially in IT, to only put to compress everything into 1 page. Look, folks, if your resume is 2, 3, 4, even 5 pages, don't worry about it. If you're at a senior level, if your resume is like 5, 6 pages, that's fine. Don't worry about it. As long as your resume is communicating your experience, the value you brought, your achievements, your accomplishments, the ROI you achieved for your previous businesses. That's what you need to focus on. So that's my point with regards to that, Neha. Like, don't stress so much about this one page resume thing. I can only speak on behalf of IT professionals, at least in the IT space. This one page resume thing, it's ridiculous. It doesn't make any sense to me. And it's caused too many people to focus and stress over this one page thing. And it's just bad advice. And I've never personally myself or ever heard of a hiring manager skipping on a resume or denying an opportunity to a candidate simply because they were beyond one page. If anything, they'll only read the first page, the one page, and skip over the rest. But it's just ridiculous, folks. At least for IT. Again, I can't speak on behalf of other industries. Hope that helps, Neha, and all the best to you in your search. Peter says, "Hey, Peter, thanks so much for your comment. Do you think is there any businesses doing better?" So, Peter, this is a fantastic question, and I have spoken about this previously. But what you want to look at, Peter, is those parts of the market that is experiencing an increase in demand. Now, a great example of this is any video conferencing technology. Like, these are businesses experiencing such an increase in demand. And and I know everyone's using Zoom as an example, but I think before this whole pandemic, Zoom had around like 10 million users or something. And most recently, they're up to like 200, 300 million users. Like, it's ridiculous. It's crazy. So this is an example, Peter. Another example would be the healthcare space. Definitely a high increase in demand, not only for the frontline people, but just those supporting industries as well. Pharmaceuticals, right? And then also industries supporting the healthcare industries, technology companies that support who the bulk of their clients are healthcare industry, like organizations or hospitals. Those two secondary industries are also experiencing a demand because the bulk of their client base is in industries experiencing this increase in demand. So what you want to look at, Peter, is where in the marketplace right now is there an increase in demand, and where businesses are actually thriving and doing well, right? And that's where you might want to focus your attention in terms of your focusing your job search. Hope that helps, Peter, and all the best to you in your job search. And let me see here, more questions. Okay, so Vinu says, and it's a great question. Vinu asks, "Hi Dean, by when will the job market have more jobs than talent chasing those jobs?" Vinu, so I mean that depends on how quickly things go back to normal. And look, folks, I don't mean to cause any concern or anything like that, but I mean, and I'm sure all of you have probably heard about it, is that we're probably heading to a recession, right, right now, or right after this thing gets resolved, and the attention comes off this whole thing or whatnot. That's what I've heard. I don't know. I hope I'm wrong. I hope all these everything going out there, like all these people saying like what they're saying is wrong. But prepare for it, folks. Like, prepare for some challenging times ahead. That is not, and I'm not trying to worry everyone. I just want to give you a realistic outlook about what I'm hearing and what I see out there, because I'd rather, you all have a realistic look about what's going on out there and take the necessary steps to adjust and adapt to it, than tell you, yeah, everything's fine and rosy, everything's going to be fine, and make you feel good and all of that stuff. Telling how long this thing's going to go on for, right? And this pandemic thing, and then after that, they're saying there's the possibility of getting to a recession. So you need to be prepared, folks. And my ebook, the free ebook, again, it's a free ebook I'm releasing this Friday. It's going to help you with some ideas and strategies on how to navigate a hostile, unfriendly job market environment, right? And I speak about strategies and tactics that'll help you in that regard. So what I can suggest to you, Vinu, is and definitely make sure you get a copy of my book, and I'm releasing it on Friday. What I speak about in the book is, folks, you cannot use the same strategies and tactics you used in a prosperous job market as you would right now. Right now, you need to practice those skills of being proactive, taking control, and being able to reach out directly to decision makers and people that can get you in front of the right opportunities. So hope that helps, Vinu. And I mean, I wish I could have been more helpful with regards to that, Vinu. And I wish I could have said something more positive. But folks, brace yourself for some tough times ahead, right? That's what I'm saying. And I just want everyone to be realistic about it. It doesn't mean everything's over. It doesn't mean the world is over. It just means that we could be heading into a recession. That's what everyone's saying. All right. So Richard says, "Hey Dean, reach out to me so we can do a show together." Yeah, Richard, I love to. Richard, I'm not sure what you do, but absolutely, I love to do a show with you, Richard. Feel free to send me a private message. Definitely love to hear more about what you do and see if we can collaborate and help all job seekers out there. Right, I'm always looking to hook up and work in partnership with people looking to help job seekers out there. That's my passion. That's my purpose. It's the reason why, as crazy it might sound, it's the reason why I feel I was put on this planet is to help job seekers in their search for employment and bring great companies and great people together. Like recruitment, that's my passion, folks. Manisha says, a quick question, Dean. If a recruiter contacts with the role that may have few skills not matching with my profile, is it okay to say no to that role? Yeah, Manisha. I mean, look, it's up to you, Manisha. But look, let me ask you this, Manisha. Given that it's only a few skills missing, and given the current status of the market, like what do you have to lose, Manisha, by just going ahead and moving ahead with the opportunity? Only you know the answer to that. I would if I was the recruiter representing you, like my conversation with you would go like this. Manisha, I totally understand that there's a few skills missing from your profile for this particular opportunity. But look, if I felt that you weren't a good candidate, I would not have reached out to you in the first place. And given the current status of the market, given the fact that there are much less available opportunities out there, and given the fact that I have possibly a direct line of contact with the hiring manager and the decision maker, if you have no other reservations, Manisha, I don't see why we shouldn't still present your profile for the role and see what happens, right? Worst case scenario, the client says, hey, she's missing a few things, doesn't have the right skill set. We can't consider her for the role. So what, folks? If you don't swing, you can't take a hit, right? And if you don't take a swing, you can't take a hit, right? So look, if you're only missing a few skill sets, Manisha, and again, up to you, Manisha, right? But what I'm saying, the current status of the market, with this whole situation and hiring and recruitment the way it is, if there is an opportunity, why not go for it? So it's up to you, Manisha. But again, I would advise you to go for it. Like, what do you have to lose? Like, you have nothing to lose. So just go for it. But again, I don't know your situation or if you're currently employed or not, but that's my 2 cents, Manisha. Hope that helps. Peter says, in COVID-19, I guess you're referring to your previous question, Peter. So I believe I answered that question. Again, folks, there are certain industries experiencing an increase in demand with COVID, with this whole situation with the pandemic. So you got to observe which parts of the market, right? You got to think, you got to observe, you got to look. Like, don't get distracted only by the negative stuff. Like, look at where the opportunities are. As an intelligent job seeker, look for opportunity, folks. Look, where's the opportunity? Where's the increase in demand? Healthcare, logistics, video technology companies, right? And what else? And so many other, insurance, right? Look at all these fields like experiencing demand and look for your skill set, demands for your skill set within these industries. Vivek asks a great question. So Vivek, thanks for your question. Is it a time to consider new opportunities or taking risk if you are having a permanent job? So Vivek, this is a common question I get asked. So Vivek, this depends on two things: your current situation, like why are you looking to make a move from your current company, and secondly, where are you looking to make a move to? Like, you got to do this is where you got to do, folks, your own research and your due diligence. Like, why am I leaving where I'm at? Does it make sense for me to leave right now? And secondly, where am I planning to or considering to make the move to? The company that I'm considering moving to, is there a high demand right now? What industry, what sector, what services, solutions, products, and all that stuff do they provide? And are these products and solutions or projects they have going on, is there an increase in demand? Like, why are they? And top question a lot of you don't ask at your interviews is, why are you looking to hire for this position at this time? Right? Great question to ask, and a question most of you should be opening your interviews up with. Because you need to understand, why are they looking to hire for the position? What's the sense of urgency? Why is it an urgent position? Why are they hiring right now in the current environment there, and where so many businesses are shutting down or not hiring at all? So Vivek, you need to examine these things, right? Like, look at your current situation. Why are you looking to make a move from where you are currently? And what's going on at the company you're considering? Are they experiencing an increase in demand? Or is there a high likelihood that there's going to be continuous or consistent project work with a very small likelihood of you being let go or laid off and stuff like that, or the business crashing? So you got to make that evaluation, Vivek. I hope that points you in the right direction, and thanks so much for your question. Sweta says, I'm humbled, maxed out on connection, but if you are in Canada, send me personalized message. Yeah, folks. Make sure you follow Sweta. She has great content, great advice. Geeta says, "Thanks, Dean. Great information." No worries, Geeta. I hope that was helpful, and thanks for your comment. Neha says, "Thanks for addressing my question." No worries, Neha. I hope that helped. Don says, "Oh man, oh." Those of you following me, like my mouse does this thing where it just randomly scrolls up and down and all over. So there we go. Okay, so Don Gomez, Don, thanks for your comment and your question. Don says, Dean, how important are candidates' LinkedIn profiles? Are hiring managers really taking a closer look at this? Don, great question, folks. Your LinkedIn profile is, well, here's the thing. It might be important, but it might not be important. But why not make it important just in case, right? Because you never know the person that you're, whoever the hiring manager is, the decision maker. For them, it might be important, it might not be. But I mean, if you have put the time and effort into your LinkedIn profile, and it's someone who doesn't care about your LinkedIn profile, no love lost there, right? But if you have not put time into your LinkedIn profile, and it's someone who is going to look at your LinkedIn profile, guess what? They might look at your profile. Maybe there's some discrepancies and stuff like that. Uh, and it might end up with you not being considered for the role. Simple example, folks, as a recruiter, like I've had clients who not only look at the resume but also compare the resume to the LinkedIn profiles, and they look for discrepancies, especially in time frames, right? What years were you working at such and such position? Is it in line with what you put on LinkedIn? Unfortunately, some candidates have made the mistake of not putting accurate dates and times on their resume reflected on their LinkedIn profile. And guess what, folks? Unfortunately, this has resulted in clients getting back and saying, "Hey, there's discrepancies in what they put on their resume and their LinkedIn profile, and I don't trust them now. So unfortunately, we're going to pass on this candidate." Don't let that happen, folks. Your LinkedIn profile is a very good thing to take advantage of. And if you're not on LinkedIn, I mean, why not take advantage of it? Like, it's great to have an online presence, and it's a public place where you can ask for testimonials and have previous managers and supervisors comment on that. It's also a great place to build your professional brand and your professional profile. That's what I've done with LinkedIn, right? Like those of you who have joined me on this call, you would not know about me if I was not active and had not built my professional brand on LinkedIn. So if anything, I hope this gives an example of what can be achieved if you put some effort into your LinkedIn profile. So absolutely, Don, LinkedIn profile, I'd say it costs you nothing to put some time into your LinkedIn profile, folks. Make sure it looks good, make sure it has the details in terms of your accomplishments, your achievements, and all of that stuff, and make sure the dates coincide with what you put on your resume. Now, why you would have different dates on your resume and your LinkedIn profile, kind of fishy there, but maybe you have your reasons, or maybe it's just a simple mistake, but make sure those are in line, folks. So thanks for your question, Don. I hope that helped. Aparna says, hi, Dean, or let me just scroll down here. So Aparna says, hi, Dean, when should we follow up with corporate recruiters? Sometimes they just don't reply or acknowledge. How to handle such cases? Yeah, Aparna, great question. So recruiters in general, folks, tend to be pretty busy, right? Either speaking to people or corresponding with people or communicating with people. If you don't get a response, that is, don't take it personally. That's the first piece of advice. Follow-up, folks, is not a one-time thing. It's a continuous activity. It's a continuous action. It's something you got to do continuously over a period of time. So if you follow up with a corporate recruiter today, right? Let's say this is your first week, you've been presented for the role, or maybe it's and it also depends on which stage. Like, are you following up after the interview and all that stuff? Follow up, for the first month, once every few days. That's what I would say. Once every 3-4 days or so. That's what I would advise, for yourselves as candidates, and keep following up beyond the 1 month mark. Maybe every 2 weeks or so, right? Month 3, maybe every 1 month. Now, some of you might be like, Dean, what's the point of following up? After a few weeks, like, does that mean they're not interested? Not necessarily, folks. Do not assume that. Could be many reasons why they're not getting back. Could be the position was put on hold. Maybe they're trying to get budget approved. Maybe they had something else come up that's more urgent, so they had to put a pause on the hiring, and they want to deal with something else before getting back to the recruitment process. The point here, folks, you want to be the first person that they think about, because you've been following up and staying on their minds consistently. You want to be the first person they think about when they do get around to making that hiring decision or moving you along in the process. Now, it could very well mean that you were not selected for moving ahead. But why make that assumption? Always assume that that things are still going, and you still have a chance of nailing the role or nailing the interview. So keep following up and keep doing that. So again, month one, I'd suggest follow up every few days. Month two, once every 2 weeks or so. Month three and onwards, once a month. And look, I've heard of there are candidates out there who took this advice and who stayed in touch, who showed continued interest, who actually had organizations come back like 5, 6, 7 months later and said, hey, you know what? We had some things we had to deal with. We're back to hiring for this position. We'd really like to offer you the opportunity. So what if that happens, folks? What if that happens, right? But at the same time, Aparna, do not depend on one opportunity, because then you're going to feel desperate. You're going to feel depressed when they don't get back. So while you're doing this follow-up with one company, continue looking for other opportunities. Continue putting yourself out in front of other organizations, other recruiters, other companies. That'll keep you motivated while you are continuing your follow-up with this company that interests you. You're filling up your pipeline with other opportunities. You're going for other interviews, so you're staying motivated and you're staying positive. I hope that helps, Aparna. Peter says, like healthcare, remote clinic. Yeah, absolutely, Peter. Those are great examples. Peter's referring to industries experiencing good high demand right now. So great examples, Peter. Let's see here. Neha says, how important is certification? Do you think it'll help, especially now? I'm talking in regards to an entry-level business analyst role. Neha, that depends on the company, the organization, the hiring manager, and what they're looking for in an ideal candidate, and whether that's important, and whether it's even relevant for the project. Some cases they might say, yeah, the certification might be important. Other cases it might be, you know what, we don't care much for certifications. We just want someone who can come in, get their hands dirty, and get this project done. So it depends, Neha. Depends on what the requirements are for the role. So hope that helps. Peter says, thanks. No worries, Peter. Thanks so much. That was a great question, Peter. Appreciate you putting that in. Chengir says, industries booming. Oh, awesome. Yeah, Chengir, thanks so much for your comments. So, folks, Chengir has put in the comments industries that are experiencing an increase in demand. So, folks, I provided some examples before, but these are some more examples of industries that are experiencing an increase in demand. So you can actually look into these industries and see if there is a need for your skill set, someone with your skill set, right? So Chengir has listed e-learning, medical products, delivery services, in-home entertainment, online gaming, online dating, software industry, supplement industry, supermarket industry, cleaning industry. Chengir, great examples, Chengir. Really appreciate that comment. So folks, look into these industries. These are great examples of industries and companies experiencing a boom right now. Terry, hey Terry, how's it going? Hope you're doing great, Terry. Terry says big demand in disaster recovery, business BCP, which is business continuity planning. For those of you who don't know, may be a little behind. Should already have process in place. Yeah, so those are some additional examples. Thanks for sharing that, Terry, and I hope you're doing great. Chingir says, I'm hiring on behalf of my clients. Send me a connect. Yeah, so there you go, folks. Feel free. So, folks, by the way, when you're joining these streams, don't just, of course, you want to benefit from the information, but feel free to network with each other. Like some of you are regulars here. So if you see someone that, and you've commented, you've seen them comment in the past, feel free to connect with each other. Like this should be seen as a networking opportunity for all of you as well. So look, Chengir shared some great information. Asked you guys to follow Sweta before, feel free to follow her. Terry's another guy who's always active here, always sharing information, asking questions. You guys got to network with each other. Now, of course, I don't know if everyone's open to networking with each other, but that's a personal thing. But hey, if those of you who are open to networking with each other, put in the comments. Put in the comments right now. Hey, I'm open to networking with everyone right now, and connect with each other, folks. Like get to know each other and form your. This is how you form your networks. So as much as it's great that you guys are commenting, asking questions, getting information, network with each other as well. And I hope all of you benefit from that as well, right? So Vivek says, is it time? So Vivek, I think you're asking the same question. So I think I think I answered your question. So thanks for that again. Chengir says, people like Dean restore faith in humanity, free knowledge. May I have a copy of an ebook? Yeah, well, thanks so much, Chengir. I'm really humbled by your comment. But you know what? I'm just doing my part. I know, Chengir, you're doing your part as well. Chengir has a great, I think it's a weekly show where Chengir interviews like recruitment experts and people in the industry. with job search tips and advice. So, folks, that's another person you want to follow and connect with. I think Chengir is open to connecting with new people. Make sure you connect with him. I was one of his guests as well. I think it was like a week ago or 2 weeks ago, and he's always interviewing new people. So that's another great person to interview. You can get a lot of data, insights, and information, and to help you all out in your search. And yeah, absolutely, Chengir. Absolutely, you will get it. I'll definitely be happy to share a copy of the ebook with you, and yeah, I'll be giving it out for free this Friday. Vivek says, do you have any tips to stay on top in the current jobs to minimize one's chances of jobs lost in this work from home environment? So I'm not sure if I understand the question, Vivek. I think what you're asking is, what can you do to make sure that your current company does not get rid of, lay you off or have to get rid of you and all of that? Vivek, this is the first time someone has asked me this question, and it is an excellent question. For those of you who currently have a job, this is something you need to be thinking about and strategizing on. And it's something I actually addressed in my book. So I'm glad you brought this up, Vivek, because it's a great question, assuming that is your question. And I speak about this in my ebook. It's coming out on Friday, so and I discuss it in more detail in the ebook, folks. But and by the way, again, free ebook. But what I discuss in that book, folks, is if you're currently employed, you want to make yourself indispensable at your current company. So before you go out looking for other opportunities, and of course you want to see what else is out there in the marketplace, look for opportunities internally within your current company where you can extend your level of influence in terms of the things you can assist with, additional projects you can take on, additional areas you can help out with. Does your manager need additional assistance or help? What else can you bring to the table, folks? Don't just restrict or confine yourself to your own area which you've been working on. Right now, what you want to do is make yourself extremely valuable and indispensable to your company or your organization. That's what you need to think about and need to plan and strategize right now, so that even if, let's say, they have to lay you off at some point, you're like one of the last people they want to lay off, because they're like, you know what? Vivek is so involved in so many aspects right now, and he's helping out in so many different areas. Let's hold off on laying him off right now, because he's just involved with so many things and he's helping us out with so many different areas. Let's see if we can hang on to him for a bit longer. That's what you need to be thinking about, folks. If you're currently employed, extend your influence, extend your value to the company, and where you can help out and which parts you can help out with. Hope that helps, Vivek, and hope that helps out with your question. Hucky, hey, Hucky says, oh, wait, hold on. It's doing the scroll thing again. So Hucky says, if you don't swing, you can't take a hit. Love it. Yeah, absolutely, Hucky. It's a great piece of advice I heard. Can't remember where I heard it from. I think it was probably from like a sports person. But it's a great quote. If you don't take a swing, you can't take a hit, folks. So thanks for commenting, Hucky. Manisha says, thank you for your reply. Positive advice will follow. Yeah, thanks. You're welcome, Manisha. Farwa says, how to find new opportunities in Ontario right now. Yeah, Farwa. So, I mean, you got to look, Farwa, right? You got to use all the channels available, job boards, LinkedIn, staffing agencies, directly at companies in those industries looking to hire right now. You got to look everywhere, Farwa. Sana says, good to see you, man. Hey, Sana, how's it going? I think it's been a while, right? Sana, thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate it. And good to see you here. Hope you and your family are well and safe. Neha says, thank you for your honest response. Yeah, no worries, Neha. I try, and folks, some people don't like my honesty. Like, some people don't like that I'm very, direct and upfront. And I understand that the cost of that is I lose followers here and there. And people get upset at me and they don't like my directness and all of that. And I admit, I guess I am a little rough around the edges a bit, but my intention, for those of you who've been following me for a while, I'm sure you know that my heart's in the right place, and I really want to help all of you. And sometimes, in pursuit of your success, like, I'd rather offend you with the truth, than provide you with information that's not accurate for your success. Your success, your feelings are very important to me, folks. I want to make sure I'm not hurting anyone's feelings and stuff like that. But your success is more important to me, folks. So sometimes I might say things that might come across the wrong way or might offend you, but my mission is to help you achieve success, at least in the respect of your job search. So I hope everyone understands that. Sunny says, great tips. Great to hear that, Sunny. Terry says, I'm open to network, folks. So yeah, like I said before, anyone open to networking, put in the comments if you're open to networking. You guys need to be networking with each other. So Terry's open to networking. Neha says, open to networking and have a quick chat. Awesome. So folks, you need to connect with these people. These are the people that are open to building relationships and networking with each other. Now, build that relationship, folks. This does not mean you reach out to people and say, hey, can you help me with a job? That's not the way you approach networking. Build, focus on something you have in common. You're in the same industry, something you noticed on their profile, maybe a discussion, maybe some advice you need from them. Maybe you can give them some advice. And remember, folks, it's not just about what you can get. It's also about what you can give. All of you are highly talented, skilled professionals. You have a lot of knowledge, a lot of experience. And I've told you guys, do LinkedIn posts where you can share that knowledge and experience and be someone of value to your network as well. So yeah, a lot of people, this is great to see. By the way, congratulations to those of you who actually, put in the comments, because it does take courage to put yourself out there in the public. So, it's great to see so many people open to networking. So all of you should be connecting with each other, become friends with each other, help each other out. And you know what? It's always great to expand your network, folks, and you never know who you can help and who might be able to help you. Yeah, props to you, Terry, Sunny, Nisarg, Neha as well, Chengir. Chengir, thanks for your comment. And Nisarg is open to networking. Let's see. Vinu says, thanks for the tip, Dean, where you said don't restrict ourselves to 2-page resume, but make it 6 pages if you need it to be 6. Yeah, exactly, Vinu. Like too many people have too focused on this whole 1-page thing. So if you're a senior and how can you ask a senior IT professional to put everything on 1 page? Like, come on, folks, right? You got to evaluate the advice, folks. Evaluate and make sure the advice you receive is relevant to your industry, your domain. There might be some industries out there where the 1-page thing makes sense even at a senior level, but for IT, I don't get it. I don't see it. Jim says, love your good work, keeper. Thanks so much, Jims. I really appreciate it. Hope you're doing great. Waleed, hey, Dean, been a while. Good to hear from you. And honesty is the best policy. Yeah, absolutely, Waleed. Waleed, it's great to see you on here. Folks, myself and Waleed, we actually went to university together. We worked at, when we were students, we were working at the computer lab. And Waleed was one of my colleagues. Really funny guy, really great guy. I hope you're doing great and well, Waleed. I hope you and your family are keeping well. And, it just makes me smile to see you on here. It's so great to see you. And thank you so much for commenting here. Don says, we need more truth than ever now. I value that. Yeah, I appreciate that, Don. I really appreciate that. And you look, sometimes the truth is difficult to swallow, folks, but it's a pill all of us need to swallow, myself included, right? Terry also made a great comment. Oh God, my mouse is doing its stunt again. So Terry says sometimes honesty is reality. Absolutely, Terry, 100% agree. Great point there. Chigozi says, oh my God, my mouse is going crazy, folks. I don't know what's happening here. Chigozi said, great job, Dean. Thanks so much, Chigozi. Really appreciate that. Waleed says I'm up for networking. Great, folks. Connect with Waleed. He's a great guy. And Mohan says, globally, automotive aerospace industry almost shut down. So how to get an opportunity? I'm open for design engineer position. Yeah, Mohan. Unfortunately, Mohan, I believe it sounds like a design engineer. So I'm not sure if you're like, you mean like a design engineer within IT, or if you're an actual non-IT engineer. You want to look at where the opportunities are, Mohan. I spoke about this before, but look at the industries experiencing an increase in demand. This is where you got to do your due diligence. If you scroll up in the comments, Chengir as well as Terry gave examples of industries that have high demand right now. So that is where you might want to look, Mohan, for where the opportunities are. And of course, obviously look for your skill set within those industries. Jim says, love your good work, keep well. Thanks so much, Jims. Again, really appreciate that. And Aparna says, I'm looking for openings in data science and machine learning. Can I send my resume to you? Yeah, Aparna, you most certainly can. Now, just to give everyone the heads up, and for those of you who don't know, because of COVID-related layoffs, unfortunately, I'm currently on furlough. I'm on a temporary layoff right now, so I'm not actively recruiting. But Aparna, that being said, you're most welcome to send me your resume. As soon as I get back into recruitment and back to recruiting on active opportunities, I'll certainly do my best to help. In the meantime, I'm doing my best to help provide all of you with value in the forms of these live streams. So just had a question coming from Sunny, and folks, then I'm gonna wrap it up after then. And so Sunny says, Dean, any things we need to improve on for remote interviews, as this will be the normal now? Yeah, so Sunny, I believe I did a post about this some time ago, but for remote interviews, folks, treat it like an actual in-person interview. Have the video technology set up. Make sure your video is working. Make sure your mic is working. Make sure your speakers are working and set up. Make sure you're not having to fiddle or test things out during the interview. You don't want to waste time on your interview doing that. Make sure the technology is in space. Now, make sure there's a clutter-free, distraction-free environment as much as possible. I know it might be difficult if you're at home, adjusting your background and all of that. But look, the background you see behind me might be kind of distracting because why? Look, you got some stuff over here. I don't know how to do the weather person thing. I don't know how they do it. But yeah, you see the stuff over here. It could be distracting, right? Could be distracting to someone if you're having an interview. So as much as possible, like it should ideally be like this white, or where is it? Yeah, this this white background behind me would have been ideal, right? If it was only that. So you want to have as much distraction free in your background, so that the person you're interviewing with is 100% focused on you. Like they have nothing else to look at. They can only look at you, and they're focused on what you're saying. Second thing, make sure you have not second thing, but I think the third or fourth thing, make sure you have good lighting, folks. Make sure the lighting is good. Make sure you are facing good lighting. Make sure the light is not behind you, so that it's like no one can see you. Then, right? You're like a mystery. Unless you're interviewing for like a superhero position, which some of you might be. But my point is, make sure there's good lighting so people can see you. Look, saying other same tips for the stand-in interview. Other than that, you know what? I will do probably a post or a video specifically on video interview tips, Sunny. So hope that helps. I hope those standard tips help. Okay, so some other people had some questions here or comments. Mohan says, thank you. Yeah, no worries, Mohan. So Terry says, Mohan, reach out to Magna GM. They are retooling. So folks, see, this is a perfect example of how you can network with each other and you guys can help each other out. So thanks so much for that, Terry. Maybe that'll help out Mohan. Ruchika says, hey, Dean, well said. Honesty and consistently is something which may sound bitter but beneficial. A beautiful quote I read somewhere. There could be hundreds of strategies which can be followed to prepare yourself better when the time is good. But it's that one thing which you do consistently in these times which will boost your confidence, make you positive, and become a better person when the time comes right. Wow, what a great quote. Thanks so much for sharing that, Ruchika. That's a great quote, folks. And it's speaking about the importance of consistency, right? And performing the right actions over and over again consistently. And Vinu says, and Dean, what about the folks who will out the other end of this downturn with a gap of 6 months to 1 year unemployed on their resume? Will they look bad to recruiters and hiring managers? So Vinu, great question. Now, given the whole situation with this whole pandemic, folks, I would believe, or I would think that most organizations and most people hiring would completely understand, a gap of a few months or a year because of this whole pandemic, because a whole bunch of people got laid off. So I'm pretty sure most organizations will be empathetic towards this. Now, that being said, folks, and sorry, I'm kind of going like, I think we're approaching an hour, so I hope I'm not boring all of you, but just so many, things come to mind, right? When you're asking these questions. And a great question, Vino. Thanks a lot. What you want to make sure you do, folks, is although you are currently unemployed or not working and stuff like that, do not stay idle. If at all possible, put your skills, your professional skills to use. Start some kind of a personal side project. Do some freelancing work. Create some kind of a portfolio that you can show, or take some certifications. Show that you were doing something and you were still active, despite the fact that you were not actually employed. So you want to make good use of this time. So hope that helps, Vinu. Aparna says, thanks a lot. Best wishes to you. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, Aparna. Best wishes to you as well. And Sunny says, thanks. And Mohan says, sure, Terry, thanks. Okay, great. Folks, thank you so much for joining in. I hope the information we went over today was helpful for you. And look, hope everybody's well and safe. Stay positive. Stay taking action, folks. Keep taking actions. Even if you don't get the results you want, you'll feel good about taking actions. Stay positive. Hope everybody's well and safe. And again, tune in every Wednesday, 11 a.m. I do this live stream where I answer your questions and go over certain topics to help all of you out in your job search. I hope this information was helpful. All of you keep safe, keep well, stay positive. I'm going to do my best to keep putting out this information to help all of you in your job search. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day, and we'll connect again soon.